So this is going to be a sort of hard video for me to make, because the guy I'm going to be responding to is actually someone I used to really admire. His name is Chase Ross, and you may recognize him from the video I did on the This Free Life campaign. Long story short, he used to be a really great YouTuber. His videos were usually targeted at trans guys, and he was a really funny, engaging man who gave advice on transitioning and vlogged about his own transitioning experience. But then he drank the Kool-Aid and plunged headfirst into the rabbit hole that is the SJW ideology. He became heavily involved in identity politics and started talking more about his identity as trans rather than his actual medical condition of gender dysphoria and his transition. This is an unfortunate pattern that I've seen a lot of trans people fall into. In fact, I even did an entire video on this subject, and I'm planning on making another entire video on this brainwashing process as it's been applied to a lot of FTM vloggers on YouTube. Currently, Chase is perhaps one of the most popular trans guys on YouTube. He has tens of thousands of subscribers, and he's dedicated everything he has to brainwash them with the same rhetoric that got him hooked. And it's not even really his fault. He generally thinks that he's being a good person, when really all he's doing is being authoritarian. I actually wrote was essentially a whole essay as a comment in response to the video I'm going to be responding to. We post that on this video if you're interested in reading it. I'm probably going to make some similar points in this video as I did in that post. I'm going to try to be as nice and civil as I can to Chase, though I might still crack a few jokes, or maybe a lot of jokes. I'm not going to be mean, but I'm not going to sugarcoat anything either. I want you to all keep an open mind regarding Chase. Don't go and dislike this video unless you really have a reason to dislike it. Don't go and harass him, but do try and have a polite conversation with him, because he is actually a nice guy, and that's why I'm trying to respect him as much as possible. I really hope he sees this video. Without further ado, let's jump into it.
Hey guys, today I am doing a different type of video. Honestly, I really wanted to post a mental health update today, but like 12 people asked me to do a video response to Ariel's video on two genders. So I decided to start drama and post this on YouTube, because why not? Usually I only post my reactions to her videos on Tumblr.
That's part of the problem, Chase. Get off of Tumblr, now. But seriously, you shouldn't touch that site in a hazmat suit sprayed in disinfectant with a 67-foot pole, because that site is literally cancer.
But whatever. I also wanted to debut my new camera, not like this, but here we are. And there's a weird shadow behind me, I don't know why. But anyways, why am I reacting? Why I have such strong feelings against Ariel? She made a video, a couple of years back on all these trans topics that she had like no right in talking about, and they were really rude. I'm not just overreacting. Like honestly, she said that preteen trans guys look physically the same as butch lesbians. Like who says that? Like even if you think that that's true, why would you ever want to make that comparison?
For those of you who don't know, Ariel's a popular lesbian YouTuber. But anyway, this is the problem I have with you, Chase. No one does or doesn't have the right to discuss transgender topics, and the fact that you think otherwise shows that you have an authoritarian mindset. And as for a comment on the preteen trans guys, well, I agree that was insensitive and sounded kind of rude. It wasn't that far from the truth. Preteen trans guys still have completely feminine bodies, even though they present as male. Masking the truth because of your feelings isn't helping anyone.
Like, thank you for giving all of these trans people dysphoria. Thanks. Anyways, so we're gonna watch this video together. It is 10 minutes of my life and your life. I hope my commentary at least helps a little bit, but so yeah, let's start this, and let's see if it's a shit show or not. And I also have no idea who this other girl is. She looks really familiar, but no idea. So let's watch together, shall we?
Okay, this is really random, but you sound kind of like an even gayer version of the young penguin from Gotham, which is the best show ever. And I have no idea why I'm being reminded of that. The other girl's Jacqueline Glenn, who you should have heard of because she's a tranny who doesn't agree with SJWs. Keep that in mind, Chase.
Hey guys, so I'm here with my friend Ariel.
Hi.
And we're at Bufferfest in Canada, and we were talking about, you know, the thing that everyone's talking about here, gender.
Yes.
And how there are...
I feel like there are two genders.
Okay, yeah, see this is the thing. And
but
like,
there are multiple, as many people as there are different gender expressions.
Right, okay, and
That's
is
what I
super
feel like.
controversial because like I've seen so many different videos on YouTube. Friends of mine have posted videos explaining how there are like multiple, and I lost count of how many they were saying that there were. And I've like wanted to make this video for a while, but I didn't have the courage until you said the
I'm gonna
same
get so
thing
much
that I
shit
was
for
thinking.
this.
Oh, you're gonna get so much shit for this? Hi, Ariel. I hope you're watching this video and you watch it till the end because I'm about to watch your fucking video till the end. Can I just say that the description, no longer talking to you, by the way. I feel like such a sassy little asshole today. This is basically a mental health update. I haven't been really doing well, so I think this is gonna be good to help me vent all of my feelings. So thanks. The description of this video, by the way, says how many genders are there, what's pronouns should you use, and how many people will this video offend? That sounds like fucking clickbait to me.
You do clickbait all the time, Chase. It's not a big deal, but you shouldn't be the one to talk.
No, but you shouldn't, and I don't think that you will, especially from my audience.
No,
But,
your
like,
audience loves me for the most part,
They
right?
do, because you're awesome. And I mean,
'Cause
this is like a logical type of thing. Like,
Yeah.
I'm very open-minded on my channel about gender expression, about, you know, different sexualities, and there are multiple different sexualities and things like that. But whenever it comes to gender, I feel like scientifically, there are two.
There are two, and if you feel like you're born in the wrong body, that means
It's
you're
gender
born as the
dysphoria.
I'm sorry, scientifically, are you talking about genitals? Because if you're talking about genitals, then you literally are missing, like, the huge picture, because there is not such thing as only penis and only a vagina. Am I... No? No one else with me on that one? Like, hello, intersex people? No?
Some people are born intersex, but that doesn't make them a third sex, and they still have either a penis or a vagina, but maybe one that's not fully formed, or in rare cases, elements of both. It's not like there's some third kind of genitalia, Chase.
0? Okay.
wrong gender.
I'm not giving you
Yeah.
attitude, by the
Gender
way.
dysphoria, you're
Right.
transgender or transsexual.
Exactly.
If you go through with the surgeries.
And I have
Oh, if
I
you
have
go
many
through with
friends
the
of mine that
surgeries,
are
okay.
very
Yes, Chase, because transgender people transition. Sure, there are a few people who don't have access to those resources, but the vast majority of trans people do go through with the surgeries.
close friends of mine that are
That are
transgender.
transgender, right.
And
Same. My best friend is trans now.
And
My best friend's
yeah, and I even spoke with her about it, and she's like, no, there are two genders,
I'm not transphobic, my best friend is trans.
That's not what they were saying, Chase.
and I identify as a female. I'm a woman.
Right.
You know, and even most trans people that I speak with, they're not really trying to say that there are more than two genders. They
Yeah.
just don't identify with the one they were born with.
I
Okay, this might be controversial, blah blah. I feel like the community is usually split up on this. That yes, there are multiple genders, people identify as multiple genders, cool.
But their identities doesn't mean that they have that gender in their brain, Chase.
Okay, and then there's the other side where, no, it's more like binary, where there's only male and female, and it's more like gender expression. And I feel like there is a lot of debate in this community about what is what, and I honestly think that people can do whatever they want. It doesn't affect me in any way. If you believe that I definitely believe that there are different genders, and I definitely believe that if you are identifying yourself as non-binary and want to also identify yourself as trans, then yes, you do that. I don't know who made up these rando rules that non-binary people aren't allowed in the trans community. Like, where are these, like, unwritten rules? Who made these rules up?
The reason that people who identify as non-binary are not trans is because A, they don't transition, and B, there's no evidence that non-binary is a scientific concept and not an ideological one. Calling the special snowflake people trans is a huge slap in the face to trans people, who actually go through the real pain of dysphoria and transitioning, and not only that, but lumping people who want to slap arbitrary labels onto themselves with people of a real medical condition is really harmful to the reputation of trans people.
Anyways, off of a tangent.
transgender woman who is in her 50s, and she just started transitioning, so male to female. And she said she identified as genderqueer, but what that really means, it doesn't mean she's not female or doesn't feel female. What that means to her, and what it should mean, in my opinion, to other people, is that you're just more of a tomboy. Like, she's not a very feminine trans.
What you think genderqueer should mean and what it should mean to people who are genderqueer? Why? You literally say that you are cis. You are not genderqueer. Why do you think you know? Like, you have the all-knowing eye of what genderqueer is.
The problem with this, Chase, is that you also want to dictate what genderqueer means. Ariel was saying that that's what it means to that particular trans woman, and she's suggesting that that's what other people mean when they call themselves genderqueer. While we're on the subject, I have no idea what genderqueer or queer gender, whatever they're calling it now, is supposed to mean, because there's so many different definitions if you try to research it online. That's the issue I have with a lot of these non-binary labels. They're so vague and meaningless. And that's part of what makes me question their validity. I'm surprised that you, Chase, as a transsexual, can stand up for something so vague when you know concretely, better than most people, in fact, what it means to experience real struggles with your gender. Well, you know exactly what it means to be male because you have had to deal with all the struggles and pain of transitioning into a male body. All this nonsense just dismisses all of those trials and tribulations.
Trans woman, like looking at her, and if she were cisgender, and if she were a cisgender woman, she would not be like you. She would be more like chapstick kind of thing, like
and
me.
Just, and just for people to know, cisgender means you identify with the gender.
Oh, Ariel did
Right.
not look
You're
happy
not-
about being
cisgender
cut
means
off
not
there.
transgender.
Right. A lot of people, whenever they debate whether or not there are more than two genders, it's because they're focusing on gender expression.
Right.
And they're saying that they don't necessarily have to conform to societal standards of what it is to be a woman. Like, for example,
Which both of us agree with. You
right.
don't.
Of course not. Like, women don't have to wear pink. Women all don't have to wear dresses.
Right.
Like, it doesn't make you less of a woman if you're not girly. by,
Right,
like-
and nowadays people
Yeah.
are coming up with different names for those different types of gender expressions. When in the old days we just called it being a tomboy,
Yeah.
or just being a woman who likes
Yeah.
to dress more masculine, whatever that even means. But to me, you don't have to classify yourself as a different gender. To me, it's almost like it's the easy way out. It's like, no, I'm not a man in a dress. I'm agender, so I'm allowed to wear a dress. No, you should be a man and you should be allowed to fucking wear a dress.
I totally agree with Ariel on this point, by the way. She's 100% correct. Many people who identify as non-binary do so because they're afraid that there's something wrong with them if they don't conform to gender norms. In reality, you can totally be a man and wear a dress, or be a woman and be a pro boxer or something like that. There's nothing wrong with that. It doesn't make you a third gender.
I feel like saying that is almost kind of undercutting the whole process, because you're pretty much saying that to be a man you have to look, dress.
No. Oh my god, no. It's how people feel inside. It's not because I'm male and I would love to wear dresses that, like...
That's exactly the reason a lot of people say they're non-binary, Chase. And SJWs like you will accept that without any other evidence. It's not about how people feel inside, Chase. Your gender is about your brain. And there's only evidence for male or female brains.
Honestly, if I am a man, I'm a trans guy, that still makes me a man, and I would love to wear dresses. I'm not gonna go out and identify as agender or non-binary because I want to express femininity in a gender expression for myself. Like, that's not how it works. You're just using examples that you think classify it. I know a lot of other trans guys who do very feminine, in quotation, feminine things, and like to express and wear dresses and makeup and...
Wait, these men wear dresses and makeup? Then they're in all likelihood transgenders, Chase. Gender dysphoria prevents you from doing that sort of thing. This is another thing you should know about, Chase. There are attention seekers and liars in this world, and sadly so many of them are claiming to be trans these days. I bet you anything the people you're talking about haven't done anything to medically transition.
It doesn't make them agender or non-binary. They still identify as like binary trans men. But then there's also the other side where there are a bunch of non-binary trans people who also do that. Like, it's all over the spectrum, and I feel like they only have like one, like a tunnel vision. Like, they think that only men who identify as agender will wear dresses, or like they think that that's a cop-out. And yeah, I get it. Men should be allowed to wear dresses in society, and that would be great. And maybe it does make it easier on some people to accept that maybe I am agender because I want to express myself in a different way. So I kind of get what they're saying, but also it doesn't work for like 98% of the community who expresses their gender differently. It's really how you feel inside.
Again, Chase, it's not about your feelings, it's about your brain. Why would transgender people transition if it was all just about their feelings? Why is there an increasing body of neurological evidence for trans people if it's just about their feelings? It's sad that in the midst of all this identity politics, people care about feelings more than they do about neurological evidence.
Act like what people think the standard definition of a man is.
To me, it's actually
so it's like reinforcing.
it's actually
stereotype.
reinforcing the stereotypes
Yeah.
of what the bigender of what the two genders should be.
Again, Ariel's 100% correct. She just pointed out one of the biggest contradictions in the SJW ideology.
There are people, for example, that have XX chromosomes that are born as a man.
Right.
You know, but
Born
that doesn't
as a
mean
man.
that
You know what she meant, Chase. You're being authoritarian again by policing people's language.
there are more than two genders. It's a thing that happens biologically that can change the way that you are, presented.
Right.
It doesn't mean that there's like a new gender that's been created for this person, and I don't think that they would want that label either.
Right. No,
what
I don't
I'm
think so.
saying? Like-
No, it wouldn't help their cause at all.
Yeah, so if you're different medical studies on people who have XY or XXY even chromosomes, and they're born as a man, they don't want They don't want to be called anything else. They don't want to be called a woman just because they, you know, it's very confusing. And people, I feel like people are so quick to get offended whenever it comes to things like this.
That's why, in my opinion, that's why it's...
So you like being offended, Chase? That's not a good sign of your psychological well-being, and it makes you look like the authoritarian that you're being right now.
a hot topic because it's easy to get offended and people want to jump on it. A big thing is when we say that there's only two genders, we're not invalidating who you are.
Right.
We're just saying that there doesn't need to be another name for what you are or how you feel. You can still...
I am so fucking sorry, but that is the definition of invalidating someone's identity. We're not saying that we're invalidating your identity. We're just saying that you shouldn't have to call... If people want to fucking call themselves tri-gender, let them call themselves tri-gender.
But don't you see, Chase, how ridiculous a label like tri-gender is? Sure, people can call themselves whatever they want, but that doesn't make it a gender. How can somebody have 3 genders in their brain? That's not even possible. Lumping people who slap on these labels to be unique with people who suffer an actual condition is intellectually dishonest and harmful to trans people.
It literally affects none of us.
Well, except for trans people who actually suffer from dysphoria every day, and have to watch people make a mockery of them by turning gender into a fashion trend.
If somebody wants to go ahead and use they pronouns, use it for them.
Wait. Did you just command people to change your language to suit somebody's feelings? You're being such an authoritarian right now, Chase. It's unbelievable. I'm sorry. I'm trying to be nice to you, but you're making it really difficult to keep my cool right now. What about pronouns like me and nim and z and zer and all of that make-believe stuff? Do you want to force people to use those even more unnatural and inconvenient pronouns because somebody else wants to feel special? This is why I unsubscribed for you in the first place, Chase.
Like, it's not... Who are these people? What are you doing talking about these topics? I don't know if the other person is trans. I have no idea. I've never seen this person's videos before. But the way that they were talking about how I have trans friends, like, makes it seem like they are cis.
She is trans, Chase. You should have done your research before, instead of making assumptions about her. And I don't even like Jacqueline Glenn. But the fact that you're treating somebody not being trans as a bad thing is very telling, Chase.
But, sorry. I'm not invalidating your identity as a cis.
She isn't cis, and now you're mocking her because you think she is. You're being a bully right now, Chase. You do realize that? I'm trying not to lose my cool here, because I know you're a really good person, but whoever told you that you have to think this way is probably not a good person.
Still be a woman and not have gender dysphoria and be a tomboy or dress differently or act differently or speak differently.
Or have a different sexuality.
Oh, we're going into
gender,
that.
by the way, are 2 totally different things. People try to conflate them all the time, and it's so frustrating. I don't know, and I've been too shy to make a video about this for a long time because I have a lot of people in my audience that are LGBT.
Yeah.
And, you know, I don't want to cause any discomfort, you know, with them whenever it comes to this topic because I try to be very open-minded and accepting and loving of everyone. But this particular thing, I feel like it's just kind of gotten a little bit out of hand, and it's almost like a thing people have created so they have a reason to get more offended.
You hit the head on the nail, Jacqueline. Your videos may be boring, but you have a brilliant point, and I'm not just saying that.
100%. Like, I saw a video recently of somebody that identifies as non-binary. I think that means they don't identify as either a man or a woman, which how can you not identify? How can you not?
Is that agender?
I think it was non-binary. I don't. It's one or the other. No. Well, I don't even fucking know. I don't remember. See, I don't know. I don't know. And
insert definition.
The point that
I am literally offended as a non-binary person. If you are watching this as a non-binary person, oh my goodness, I feel for you right now because I don't even want to know what she says.
The part of the video that really pissed me off as an LGBT person was when she said, oh, well, when they said, I guess, I think they go by they, when they said, oh, well, somebody always calls me miss or sir, and clearly I'm non-binary, and it's like, how can anybody know? Like, if you look like a thing, people will assume that you are that thing, and that's okay, because you can't go through life. You know how much
I agree. I've said this before. If you present in a feminine way and society sees you as feminine, they are going to gender you as feminine. It's not okay. You're allowed to be pissed off.
What? Wait a minute, so you're allowed to get mad at people when it's usually your fault that you present a certain way? How authoritarian are you, Chase? This is so sad to watch.
Like, obviously you're allowed to be mad, but like, I've always said this because this is what helped me when I was starting to transition. It helped me realize that, like, I am okay in my identity, and it sucks that people can't see it because people don't just ask for pronouns all the time.
Of course they don't, because pronouns are not that big of a deal. Most people couldn't care less about pronouns, which is why bills like C-16 are so harmful. Again, Chase, you're being authoritarian by suggesting that people should just bow down to anybody who identifies as a special snowflake identity and ask for pronouns all the time.
But you're allowed to still be pissed off. Like, those are your feelings, they're valid.
Why do you think that every single person's feelings are valid? A white supremacist can be butthurt about black people existing. Is that person's feelings valid? What about if somebody is misinterpreting a situation? Are those feelings valid even though they're wrong?
But what she's saying is that, like, you shouldn't be mad if people misgender you. Like, you're allowed to do whatever you want. Like, we also all need to understand how society functions, and being in sociology, that really helped me understand that.
Oh, okay. That explains everything, Chase. Sociology, which used to be a valid science, has now been overrun by SJW's pseudoscience, and it seems like the people in your sociology studies have brainwashed you.
Like, society literally sees what they want to see, and they don't care about anything else.
It's funny that you say society sees what it wants to see, Chase, because you don't seem to realize that society includes you. Society is not some magic force out to get you, Chase. Society is like Soylent Green. It's people. And haven't you ever considered that you might just be seeing what you want to see? Because that's exactly what you've been doing for this entire video.
How much anxiety you would have if you have to think about everything around you. That building is brown. No, wait, maybe it's white. Like, that sounds like just a stupid
Did you just
house,
compare
but
trans people to buildings? I'm sorry, is that dehumanizing? I'm reaching a little bit on that one, but you know.
That's literally what it is. If it looks brown, I'm gonna assume that it's brown.
And that's the thing, like, if you are trying to, you know, express yourself in a different way, you know, at least don't get mad at people for not getting it right away. Like, that's so entitled. I just, you know, like, if somebody says something and...
Oh my god, did you just... Oh my god. I'm sorry, I don't know who you are, who made this video. I only know about Ariel, but entitlement? Are you kidding me? Once you have, like... Once you have experienced the level of hate and discrimination on a level that we have as trans people, as non-binary people, as people who may identify outside of the binary but not as non-binary, like maybe like agender or something like that, you can't say that we're entitled.
Actually, she can, Chase, because A, she's trans herself, and B, just because you're trans or identify as something you got off of Tumblr doesn't mean that you can't be a rich, spoiled little brat like so many of these kids are. I'm not calling you any of that, Chase, but most of the sorts of people you're defending probably are those things.
Honestly, because... Sorry, the cat just meowed. Beauty. Because we have gone through so much. We're allowed to be mad. We're allowed to express ourselves and tell people that what they're doing is hurting us.
What if they are innocent people who have the best intentions but made a mistake? Why should you be mad at them for that, Chase? This is another reason that this authoritarian ideology is actually harmful to the trans community. It turns otherwise good people into bitter and hostile ideologues who scream bigot at anybody who doesn't conform to their standards. It makes trans people all look like horrible people.
And I feel like what you're saying here, or what this person is saying, is that we're entitled if we get mad. Like, it's just entitlement. Listen.
They don't call you by the right pronoun, for example, just politely correct them.
Just politely correct. Yeah,
you know,
that's it.
when you can get mad is to like, no, I'm gonna, you know, because I like my trans friend, for example. There are people that refuse to call her a she, and you know, they're like, no, you were born a man. That's a dude. Like, he doesn't like when I say that, and they go out of their way to be purposely offensive. That's when you can get mad. That's totally fine. But to just,
But even so, is it worth getting angry over somebody that treats you that way?
I mean, it shouldn't be, but I can understand it.
No, I understand
What
it,
I can't
but
understand.
don't even bother. Don't waste your energy.
Yeah,
on it.
but what I can't understand is whenever you don't get it right, you know, and
Ariel, please stop. Like, this other person beside you. I'm not saying the name because I'm really, like, super not good at Jocelyn? Jocelyn? Sorry, I'm like super dyslexic and my first language was French. I'm all over the place right now. Is making sense right now, and Ariel is just like, but no, do you really want to get mad at people who treat you like that? Yes! We're allowed to get mad at whoever we want.
That laugh, Chase, that is the laugh of a deeply troubled man. You're like literally making my eye twitch. Please don't do that again. Anyway, Ariel's point is that some people are going to be mean no matter what, and is it really worth to waste your time on those people? I don't think so. And I don't understand why you think it would be a good idea to waste your time on people who are just going to bully you.
And it's not obvious, you know, like give people a break, you know, a lot of this is new to a lot of people,
Okay,
and even
It's still new to me, and I've been in the gay community for 10 years.
Even me, like I tried my very best to, you know, be accepting of people and give them the respect that they deserve, but
Okay, absolutely, and good on you for doing that. But you're making this video for clickbait, and I'm sorry, but I'm literally gonna call it out. Yeah, maybe you just really want to have this conversation, but by saying how many people will this video offend, you know people like me are gonna go on this video and make response videos, and this video is gonna get a lot of views, which is fine. This is how YouTube works. This is how we all make money, right? But I feel like if you're trying so hard to be an ally, why would you use this as a ploy to get more views? That's just rude, and you're offending a lot of people. And maybe you're not trying to get more views. Maybe I'm just like completely like out of it, but I feel like this is it is a hot topic. Trans and gender is such a hot topic right now.
No thanks to people like you spouting the propaganda that you do, Chase. Being trans would be so much easier if it wasn't this huge topic that everybody has to talk about every single second of the day. Most trans people want to move on with their lives, and you're making it really hard for them by turning something so personal like transitioning into a huge deal.
And it is important that YouTubers talk about it, but you are literally invalidating people's identities. And I'm not just gonna call you out on this video and stuff like that. I would love to not hear an apology, but like maybe hear that you understand that it is offensive, and maybe you should let people identify and not tell fucking genderqueer people what they should do.
you know, I don't even get it right all the time, and I've never had anyone be mad at me, but I do see that online a lot, where people like have made videos saying they didn't get, you know, my gender or whatever right, and you know, fuck that person for not respecting me. It's like, dude, they didn't know.
They just don't. Most people just don't know. They just don't know, and it's as simple as that. You cannot be.
Okay, why are you still
arrogant
talking about this? We know, we get it.
No, like you can't expect everybody to know everything. You don't know everything, so what makes what you know more important than what they know? Or what you don't know versus what they don't know?
I guess you just call everyone they.
No, because then if you don't identify as either, I don't even know what you would call them. How can you not identify as either?
Hey, you!
You identify as what?
Yo, literally you were right though. When in doubt, use they. If you literally are not sure of someone's pronouns, just use they.
Again, you are dictating what people should say, Chase, and that's authoritarianism. You know what pronouns I'm going to use for people? What they present as. I'm not going to alter what I say because some overly sensitive people might get offended.
And there have been some people that say that they feel like they're being misgendered when somebody uses they because they identify as he and they don't want people to perceive them as non-binary. But honestly, I think it's the safest bet, especially for the so many non-binary people who are coming out and you're not sure about their pronouns. Just use they and then politely ask them if they, what pronouns they use. Like, it's, come on.
Then,
Hey, you!
Ariel,
Yo,
shut up
person,
for 1 second.
human.
Oh my god.
What if they don't identify as a human?
fellow, you know what?
Do you know on Tumblr that some people legitimately identify as like
No.
animals?
No.
Okay.
That's a kid thing, isn't it?
Yes.
The kitten?
Kin.
Oh.
Yes.
There's like jokes about this, like, I'm Apache helicopter kin. Like, I identify as an Apache helicopter.
I heard kitten.
But they're real. In my experience so far, out of all the
No, why did you have to bring other kin in this? Why? Not, I'm not talking about this right now. This will be a video for a later day, but why did you have to put that into the same stirring pot as trans people, honestly? Because that, to me...
They're not grouping trans people in with other kin. They're grouping all of the crazy Tumblr identities in with other kin. How's it that you not see how ridiculous and obviously not real some of these identities are, Chase? They're not talking about transgender people who have the brain that is opposite from their body and transition to try and fix that. They're talking about the people who identify some crazy thing that's clearly not anything in real life.
Not that I'm saying... Let's not get into this.
non-binary, gender fluid, gender queer people, whatever you want to call it, agender, they're always, everybody that I've ever met that identifies in that way is 25 and under.
super young. Yeah.
Very, very young, and I feel like, not that it's a trend, but I feel like it's almost like you're still coming into your own, and you're still finding the language to identify who you are and to help express who you are.
And not that it's a trend for like everyone, because I mean, I'm sure people are struggling with how to express themselves, but it is.
I
for some
know so many non-binary people who are over the age of 30.
And do they all subscribe to the same ideology, Chase? Because in all likelihood they do. And just because you know some older people identify this way doesn't negate the fact the majority of these people are very young.
I don't know if the Ariel and whatever, if these people are just looking specifically at Tumblr, but there is a world outside of Tumblr and a lot of people live in it, and I know a lot of people who are non-binary, who are over 25, over 30 even.
But Chase, you don't realize that this is a trend for so many people. A lot of these kids see gender as a game or something when it isn't. Either you don't know this, or you're willingly denying it. I'm sorry, Chase. I'm really trying my best here, but this is such an awful video, and you're just acting so awful right now. I know you said you have had some recent mental health issues, and I'm really sorry to hear about that, but that doesn't justify you making assumptions about and bullying people you don't know. And that doesn't justify you dictating what other people should do, say, and think.
This hurts me.
people a trend, and that pisses me off even more.
Right.
Because there are people out there who are legitimately confused or legitimately like trying to find themselves, and then people hop on these trends, and it just kind of it just takes away from all of it, and then it forces people to make videos kind of like this, where it's just like, calm down.
Yeah, to me it actually in some ways hurts.
As a cisgender person, I'm gonna tell all trans and non-binary people who identify as, plants and stuff, to just calm down.
True transgender people, because it's like, well, maybe like this other person claims to be trans and they don't need the surgeries, and this other person who's actually transgender is suicidal because they feel so much dysphoric body dysphoria and stuff, and I think it hurts them because the medical industry might not take them as seriously.
Exactly, Ariel. That's what I've been trying to say this whole time. This is why I think transgenders are ruining everything for actual trans people.
It's like that with anything. There are people who take things too far, and then it kind of
the medical community is really changing, honestly.
Everyone who falls into that category, and that's unfortunate. But anyways, we tried to cover this topic, in the most delicate way possible, but still trying to, say how we feel. But if you guys agree or disagree, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below, because this is something worth discussion. I think it's kind
you're
of
getting an entire response video, though.
That laugh, Chase. That laugh. I might have to do a certain effect on you, like I did with Steve Shives. Let us say, after that, because you look too far gone, buddy. And that laugh is really driving me insane, and not in a good way. Screw it. I'll just go ahead and do it.
Brazil, where hearts were entertaining June.
a new thing. I haven't really heard much about it until pretty recently. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. Thank you, Ariel, for doing this very taboo video with me. She's the best.
Gender is so taboo.
But give her love, because she's awesome and open-minded, and you make awesome content and stuff. We collab all the time.
Yes.
So go subscribe to Ariel. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Alrighty. I'm not gonna make this long. This video is already 20 minutes because I talk a lot. I honestly think that some of the things that Ariel was saying come from a very good place, okay? And I understand some of the things that she's saying may be true. Like, yeah, don't get offended if somebody literally has no idea that you're non-binary or trans or whatever. I understand that. But the way that you're saying it and the way that she's projecting it and stuff like that is not, I feel it's not like appropriate. And
why do you get to decide what's appropriate, Chase? You're not king trans person. You don't speak for all trans people. Otherwise, I wouldn't even be making this video. You're not the thought police, okay? My patience with you is really wearing thin.
And especially because she is cis and has made so many videos about trans people that are just like, let's not even go there, that it's offensive as a trans person to hear a cis person tell me to calm down.
And it's offensive as a trans person to hear another trans person defend people who make us look like a joke. Being offended doesn't really mean anything, though, Chase.
If I heard we need to relax a little bit, maybe understand that some people blah blah, from another trans person who's also experienced it, that's a different story, because then, yeah, this person knows what we're talking about, but...
Okay, Chase, I, as a trans person, am telling you that. So will you listen to me?
I feel like cis people think that being trans, not that it's easy, but that like, because so many people are coming out as trans now, because it's way more open and that's great, I feel like maybe she thinks that it's like not that big of a deal. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. I don't know why the obsession with trans people, and like, let us write our own stories. And yeah, it's a perspective of two cis people talking about trans things.
They're not both cis, Chase, for the millionth time. And the reason that they're fed up with so many people coming out as trans is because many people are turning being trans into not just a hot topic, but a trend.
Like, cool, thank you for your perspective, but don't go tell trans people how to identify and that there are only two genders when there are a bunch of non-binary people out there who absolutely identify as 2 genders, 3 genders, 4 genders.
How can you identify as multiple genders in one? What are these 3rd and 4th genders you speak of? Don't you see how ridiculous this non-binary stuff has become, Chase? Don't you see that there is no scientific evidence for any of this?
No gender, all over the place. And now Beauty has come and to visit us, and she will help me say goodbye. Look at how cute she looks. So I don't know what she came up here for. Ow, Jesus Christ, Beauty. Ruining my light over here. Alright, well, thank you so much for watching, and if you have anything to say, let's have a conversation about this for real, and let's see if Ariel actually replies to this. It is a long video, but thank you for sticking it out to the end, and hopefully I will see you soon. Alright, have a great week.
Okay, Chase, I'm going to have to break this to you the hard way. This was an awful video. This was a horrible atrocity of a video that you made. Your arguments were all based purely on emotions with no cogent points or facts in them. You were so authoritarian in your mindset, you might as well have been a dictator. This video was trash. All of that being said, I know you're still a good person. How do I know? Because before you went down this rabbit hole, you used to make excellent videos, and you were so engaging and inspiring, and now you're just angry all the time and no fun to listen to. You've been completely brainwashed, and though it seems like you're too far gone, I really hope you'll snap out of this and see the light someday. But the only way you're going to be the good person I know you truly are is to engage in open discussion. Everything I said in my original message to you is still valid. You are free to talk with me or debate with me anytime. Hopefully I'll introduce you to some trans people who don't believe in all this crazy nonsense, because you don't have to believe in it to be trans, Chase, and don't ever feel pressured to believe in something that you know is not true. Okay, guys, I know this was probably really boring and depressing. I have to go cleanse my brain, maybe listen to, like, Wind Below or something. I don't know. As always, thanks for watching.
Feel the funk blast!